Shreveport Police Chief Ben Raymond is here. Hey, Chief Ben, welcome back. Thanks for taking time for us, sir. Good to hear from you again.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Did you have any real big problems traffic-wise because of the winter wonderland we're experiencing, or did everything go okay?
You know, everything actually went okay. We obviously had a lot of concerns, but there was a lot of preparation going into this weekend. You know, we knew about the possibility of this event for a week, and we've had, daily updates from National Weather Service. We've had a lot of department head meetings and staff meetings, and so I just think everybody worked together well. And luckily, this was mainly a snow event, not an ice accumulation event, and I think therein is going to allow the difference.
We had Gary Norman on from Public Works last hour, and he was talking about the preparations via sand trucks, et cetera, that they had done. A couple of seconds ago, you mentioned we had. What kind of preparation does the SPD do a couple of days out when it looks like, well, we may get 2, 3, 5, 6 inches of snow? Well,
we check and make sure we have sufficient or adequate personnel scheduled to work. We also put units on standby to work patrol. So essentially, all of our specialized units are working patrol today and have been on standby to work patrol duties over the weekend. Make sure our cars are, running properly, they've been maintained. We have our mechanic staff on call to come in. We get some direct contact numbers with Public Works as well as with DOTD, and we coordinate closures with them. We coordinate sanding of bridges and overpasses. And, the number of years we've had concerns, we kind of know what areas of town are going to give us concerns. That's why the decision was made by DOTD to shut down portions of 49 and 220 in advance of us having any problems, because we knew those elevated roadways were going to be the first to cause concerns.
So you jumped in on my question there. You sort of answered it when you said areas of concerns. My first thought was, when you said areas of concerns, you meant when things kind of shut down, get a little quiet, when roads are closed, that in some areas crime might increase, that the threat against businesses, et cetera, might be a little bit higher. Is that the case anywhere when we have an event like last night?
It's always a possibility, and we did actually have, some crime occurring over the last 24-hour period. Not a lot, luckily, and I have heard of a couple of vehicle break-ins and some burglaries going out this morning where people are finding, some of their items were stolen, but not a large amount of it. I think the bigger concern is always going to be just roadway conditions and, people trying to drive when they otherwise shouldn't be trying to leave the house.
Did you have any reports at all or spotted here or there of cars off in ditches or sliding off the roads at all? Have you heard anything from your officers?
I don't know of any specific reports. Now, oddly enough, I was in South Louisiana yesterday for a child sports event, and so I drove back during the snow, and coming up 49, probably about 20 miles south of Natchez is when I started hitting heavy snow. For that last hour and a half, 2 hours was slow going, and I saw vehicles off on the side of the road that had spun out. But as I got into Shreveport during the route I took, I didn't see any problems. I monitored our 911 page overnight several times. We did have some cars in roads. We had some minor accidents, but really it wasn't anything out of place, with the typical overnight in the city.
Anticipating when those 49, 220 could be back open. I know we're above freezing now and it's starting to melt. What are you hoping for in terms of getting all the roadways back open in our city?
Well, I certainly don't think they should be open until we know they're safe. There's a possibility it will be tomorrow. It really depends on how warm it gets today as to whether all this snow and ice melts off. And keep in mind, since we did shut down those areas yesterday at 6 p.m., they've had no traffic. And so although all the city streets that have remained open have vehicular traffic, which keeps them from freezing up, I-49 and 220 have had no traffic. So they really need to thaw out well before we open them up. That will be a decision that the Department of Transportation is going to make.